Hello, I am Rhonda Pezzello. I'm the city clerk for the city of Woodstock, and today I am with Chaplain Ron Anspaugh, who is our chaplain for the Woodstock Police Department and the city of Woodstock family. Hi, Chap.
Hey, Rhonda, how are you doing?
Doing good. Can you tell us how the faith community is handling not being able to have services on their campuses and in their buildings?
Well, I would love to. First of all, I'm gonna just thank you and thank our mayor and thank our city manager, Jeff Moon, and our city leaders and really all of our city family. Just the way that it's a difficult time and just the way that our city family just compassionately reaches out to not only to our community, but our surrounding areas as well. And not only in serving, but also in just communicating, especially during this really unprecedented time where um, I don't think any of us know exactly what's going on. It's just nice to hear friendly voices, familiar voices, and having the constant communication that we're having, not only with our city, but that holds true with our church community as well, our faith community. And what we're seeing is obviously churches can't meet in the traditional way. People can't go to their church campus, to their church building and hug each other and shake hands and greet each other and do all the things that as a church family that we like to do. I mean, part of going to church is just being able to be with that church family and spending time together and encouraging one another. That doesn't mean that we can't still do that. And one of the ways that from the feedback we've received the last few days from our church pastors, from our church leaders throughout Woodstock and the surrounding area, is that for the most part, we're doing that on a virtual basis. I see all kinds of platforms that, especially as an old guy, I didn't even know existed and that we're using, like Zoom, like the one that we're using now. We use Zoom, personally, we use Zoom for our Bible study classes at First Baptist Woodstock. And I see Zoom being used in other, as an option for other churches as well. And for church families to gather together. On a worship basis, what we're seeing most of all is obviously a live streaming that usually is found on a church app, whether it's First Baptist Woodstock or whether it's one of the other churches in the Woodstock area. I think for the most part, most of the pastors told us, Pastor Zayas from Abida City Church, Pastor Andy from The Way, the United Methodist Church in Woodstock, our Resurrection Anglican Church friends and Mount Olive friends, almost everybody, if not everybody, is using some kind of a virtual platform to have worship on Sundays, and oftentimes to have Wednesday night Bible studies or different group gatherings. And it was just really encouraging to see that. And so as they continue to try to reach out to their community, it's just refreshing to see just so many different ways that we're still doing that, so that we can continue to communicate and encourage our community at a very difficult time.
How is our local faith community working to serve others, like working to serve individuals and families in our community?
You know, Rhonda, that really, as we reached out again to the local churches and local pastors, our pastor friends, and it was just so overwhelming to see how our churches and our church families are reaching out to our community, to people that are definitely going through a very difficult time. And there are a lot of needs out there. And to see our church family not only meeting the needs or attempting as best they can to meet the needs of their church members, but then also reaching out to people that may not even attend a particular church, just reaching out to those that are hurting and those that are in need. And it was so encouraging to see that and see the number of ways that was happening. I think while we are able to have church virtually, the fact that one of the things that we're learning is that church is not necessarily a building, that it's the church doing church in the community, and that means reaching out to others, reaching out and providing for others and providing and helping others in need. And then just encouraging, again, many who are going through such a difficult time. Some of the specific ways that we saw is, for example, and it's not just limited to a couple churches. It's all across the board. First Baptist Woodstock, for example, is a good example of caring for children of the Northside Hospital Cherokee staff. Those that are on the front lines, our healthcare workers, certainly our first responders and our 911 dispatchers and our police and our fire. Man, we think we're going through a difficult time. Those families are really going through a difficult time, not only faced with what we're all faced with, but also faced with protecting others and caring for others and that sort of thing. And to see a church like First Baptist Woodstock opening up its normally it's we school campus. It's campus for childcare during the week and for young kids during the week. What they're doing is they're providing childcare for the Northside Hospital Cherokee hospital staff, so that they can go care for us, care for the patients, and their children will be cared for and protected in a very safe environment. We also saw churches that were partnering with other churches. It's not just one church trying to take on some initiative just by itself, which is not a bad thing, but to see other churches partnering with other churches, churches that are partnering with other churches to feed homeless. I saw one example where there was a tent set up so that homeless could come in a safe environment, eat and at a safe distance from one another, and have a good meal. And there were a number of churches that were partnering together to do that for over 250 homeless people. It was, again, it's just touching, it's overwhelming. Providing lunch for our first responders is one thing that our church families are doing. Providing dinner for our Cherokee domestic violence families. And one of the things I want to make sure I don't miss, and I know you're going to cover some other additional options later on, but food pantry. And one of the things that I was asked to do is to remind everybody that First Baptist Church Woodstock has a food pantry in their building D on campus, in their building D. That's open Monday through Thursday from 9 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock at night, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And they're providing a box of food, over $75 worth of food, a box of food that will feed a family of 4 for a week. And that's available to anybody that needs food, anybody that's in need of food. If they just go to the First Baptist campus Monday through Thursday from 9 o'clock until 4, it's open to our entire community to get a box of food. And then another thing that I saw, again, a number of churches is feeding school children, feeding our Cherokee County school children at a time when they're not able to get their lunch meals, their hot meals, and also providing financial guidance. First Baptist Woodstock was an example, and there are others that are looking at providing financial guidance. Again, it's not only a difficult time from making sure we have food, making sure we have shelter, but also a lot of people are out of work, and having someone there to provide financial guidance for them, help them kind of get through this difficult period, to me is extremely important. Our friends at the Way Church, Pastor Andy at the United Methodist Church, has something called a buddy system where they have church members that buddy with somebody that has identified that they have a need, and that buddy has identified that they can provide that need for that person. And so whatever that need might be, they connect those two people together, and that person from their church helps that person that has a need. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a church member. And then I saw a number of people that were assisting Cherokee schools, feeding the children, helping Musk Ministries, helping some of the other food pantry ministries that, again, you're going to mention, and then providing a special relief fund for financial support. So again, it was just overwhelming to see the generosity, the kindness, and then just the reaching out to people in our community from our church, from our faith community.
Some of those other pantries, food pantries that you had mentioned were Papa's Pantry with Encompass Ministries, Never Alone a lone food pantry, Must Ministries, as you mentioned. And there's also it's called the Little Food Pantry outside of Dean's Store in the Visitor Center on Main Street. There's a little refrigerator out there and some containers. And also, we just want to mention that if you need food, it's there for you. We want you to reach out to those resources, but also if you're in a position where you can donate food or donate your time to help volunteer with these ministries, that would be awesome. So also wanted to see if you had a message to deliver us today.
Well, Rhonda, I appreciate you again asking, and it's a privilege just to be here with you and see if there's some way that we can, at least in a small way, provide encouragement to so many people that are going through a difficult time. And one of the things that I thought about, if I may, is there was a message that I had the opportunity to share with our City of Woodstock family a couple weeks ago when we first started getting into what we're facing now with the coronavirus. And if I can share that message, I've modified it a little bit. I've added some things to it that I thought, and just God laid in my heart that I thought would be good to share with everybody today, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to go ahead and just start. Good Thursday afternoon, everybody. I wish I could say it's just another normal Thursday, but the reality is there are no normal Thursdays anymore. It's a new normal that we're facing. So the reality is it's just not a normal day. Oh gosh, it seemed like a normal day when I woke up this morning. I began the day pretty much like normal. I camped out in my comfortable chair, had a delicious, good cup of coffee, and began reading my devotionals. But then I started to check my iPhone and catching up on emails, reading the latest news headlines, and I quickly realized there just wasn't anything normal about this day. It didn't take long to grasp that our world was now living in a new normal, a world of unprecedented uncertainty. But you know what? In many ways, we've been there before. Oh, sure, dealing with COVID-19, with coronavirus is new ground for us. We've never dealt with that virus before. And it appears that this virus spreads quickly, and it appears to be very dangerous, at least to various groups. But I was reminded that something that I went through as a little boy. So was polio. Polio was like that too. It was a very scary time. As was the swine flu and SARS and Ebola. Heck, we faced so many dangers, from serious disease to terrorist attacks to world wars to untold natural and financial disasters. And they could have all taken us down. But Rhonda, you know what? The thought occurred to me, they didn't. They didn't take us down. We bounced back. And I recently saw this quote, and it hit me in a very big way. I thought I might share it. It says, "Life has a way of kicking us when we're down. And just when we think we can't fall any lower, we get kicked again. But it's important to remember that setbacks, failures, and tragedies, however painful they may be, are part of life. Whether we manage to find joy and success in the daily struggle of life is largely dependent on our ability to persevere through even the toughest adversity without ever giving up." The Bible says it this way in Corinthians: God is the one who comforts us in all of our affliction. And that verse just doesn't stop there. It goes on to add, so that we may be able to comfort those who are in affliction with the comfort of which that we ourselves are comforted by God. And wow, that really hit home with me. God uses other people to comfort us. When you have a problem, doesn't the Lord send someone into your life with an encouraging word, a helping hand, or a shoulder to lean on? someone to serve as a comforting beacon of light to us and to others, just like we're seeing right now in our community. And that gives us great hope that there are and will be better days ahead. We are all called to help provide comfort and encouragement to one another, even if that simply means having a presence or listening ear in the coming days. Just being able to reach out to somebody and call somebody or text somebody is so extremely important these days. It is without question a difficult period we are living in. We'll all be faced with challenging times and more likely than not, forced to tread through some uncharted, very scary water in the days and weeks and months to come. But with our faith in one another, we'll get through this. And I truly, truly, truly believe our lives will be better for it. And if I could just share just something personal as I was sharing that with you, something that came to mind really just a little while ago. As we see pictures and hear stories of our 2020 grads who are high school grads. I saw pictures today of some of our Cherokee County high school grads, and it hit me that they're going through really an unprecedented time. They got excited about graduation, planned for graduation, and it's just not going to happen the way that they've planned, the way that they've looked forward to all of their lives. And here's these young people that are really downhearted about the fact that their graduation is not going to happen, at least not the way that they had hoped that it would happen. And this is what really got to me. If my math is right, those same grads, those same young people were born right after September 11th, 2001. And that was a very scary time. That was a very challenging and really in many ways unprecedented time. It was a very difficult time. And those grads were born at that time. And their families went through that, and they went through that together. And the thought occurred to me that now they're going through something unprecedented, something that they hadn't planned on, something that's just unprecedented as far as how difficult and challenging it is, and how sad it is in many ways for them and for their families. But the thought occurred to me that God, and I truly believe this, God has something special lined up for those young people, that they've gone through 9/11, and now they've gone through 2020 and the virus that we're dealing with, unprecedented times. And I truly believe that just as we heard in 2 Corinthians, God takes us through things so that we can help and serve others. And I truly believe that He has something great planned for our young people. And I'm excited. I look forward to seeing what that is. Thank you, Rhonda.
Thank you. We really appreciate you joining us today for all your kind words, your inspiring words, and for your message. And also, we just wanted to leave you with this, that if you need additional information about the resources we provided today, or if you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment or message for us below. And also, if you would like to visit and view the other videos that we've done in this series, please look at our social media websites, or you can also visit our website. And on our website, there's a COVID-19 page that you can view. And we'll leave you with this, that we thank you for joining us today, that we hope that all of you, and we pray that all of you stay well, stay safe, and stay home if you possibly can. And if you can't stay home, we want you to know how much we appreciate what you're doing for us, and that we have the utmost respect and utmost appreciation for the job that you're doing. Thank you, and have a great day. Thank you.